Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on a Wednesday. We are now, 4 days away from Arsenal returning to action. It feels weird, doesn't it? A week going by without an Arsenal game. Not too many times this season, and in the remaining part of this season, Arsenal are going to have 3 midweeks, but that's what they have at the moment. Everyone's sitting back and watching what's going on in the FA Cup. Man United knocking out West Ham yesterday. Arsenal obviously not involved in that after their disappointing exit this season already, but at least it does give Mikel Arteta some time to work with his players on the training ground, give them a little bit of rest if needed, and focus all energies on that big game against Leeds this weekend. First of all, just say I am off this week, so if you're wondering why I'm a little bit quiet on social media and not doing my usual stuff, it's because I am at home with the kids and having a little bit of a break. I will be back for the Leeds games, but I still thought I'd pop on, record a couple of videos just to talk about what's going on with Arsenal. So I am here, and if you've got anything to say, any questions to ask, anything like that, then please do reply in the comments, and I will try and find some time to go through them all and have a bit of discussion. Okay, so it's a bit quiet at the moment on the Arsenal front. There's a couple of sort of newsy bits that I wanted to talk about, but also a little bit of sort of opinion type stuff, just and focusing on the Leeds game, what Mikel Arteta might have to do against Leeds, some of the key sort of decisions he's going to have to face. A little bit of injury news, looking at Thomas Partey at the end of the video as well. But we'll start with William Saliba. I spoke about him in my last video about how well he's been doing over in Nice and some of the interviews he's been doing and how that might be being perceived back at Arsenal. But more news about Saliba yesterday. I'm sure you've all seen it or heard about it. The video that came out from him the video's a few years old, and I'm not really going to talk about what's in it because I'm sure you've already seen it. If you haven't, you can have a search if you really want to. And yeah, it's obviously a little bit embarrassing for him, for the French Football Association, because the video was taken while he was representing France a few years ago, and the French Football Federation have now launched an investigation into that video. Because they believe it is sort of harmful to the image of the federation and to football as a whole. So they will be investigating. I think they're going to want to speak to Saliba and other people who were in the video. For now, obviously he's an Arsenal player, but it happened on French international duty. He's not at Arsenal at the moment, so I don't think Arsenal will be taking too much of an active role in it. The loan manager, Ben Napper, will obviously be speaking to Saliba as he speaks to everyone who's out on loan at the moment, making sure everyone's all right. So I'm sure Arsenal's focus right now will just be ensuring that Saliba's head's in the right place and this isn't affecting him too much mentally, that sort of thing. But in terms of the actual investigation, it's not really anything to do with Arsenal, because it's all, as I said, it happened while he was representing France. He was wearing a French training gear in the video, and it was a few years old. It was before he even signed for Arsenal as well. So Arsenal's role in this is going to be very minimal. All it's really going to be is just speaking to the player as normal, making sure sort of mentally he is okay as he can be during this situation. But yeah, an investigation's launched, so it's not ideal for Saliba. It comes at a really bad time as well, because he's just playing really, really well for Nice. He's settled in well, had a good first sort of 6 weeks there, one player in a month, obviously last month, so it's not ideal. It's a little bit of a distraction. It's embarrassing, obviously, as well for him. And so it's something he could probably do without, but he's a young footballer. Young footballers do silly things sometimes, and I'm sure he'll learn from it and move on. But so yeah, investigation has been launched, and the French Football Federation will be checking it all out. So a little bit embarrassing for Saliba, but I'm sure he will move on from this and carry on playing very, very well, and that's the most important thing between now and the end of the season. He continues to play really well for France, for Nice, and then comes back to Arsenal in the summer, hopefully very much improved and raring to go and ready to show Mikel Arteta that he is ready to play in the Premier League next season. Another thing that I mentioned in my last video was that UEFA were due to sort of announce where Arsenal were going to be playing their fixtures for the upcoming Europa League last 32 clash with Benfica. That has now been announced, and it is pretty mind-boggling stuff, really. I know we're in an unprecedented situation, but when you think Arsenal are going to be playing the away leg against Benfica, which obviously should be in Lisbon. That is now not going to be the case. That game is now going to be played in Rome, in Italy. And then even more crazy is that Arsenal's home game against Benfica, obviously due to be played at the Emirates, is now going to be played in Greece. So Arsenal playing at home in Greece. It's pretty mad. Obviously, it's a awful situation and a really unprecedented situation, so you can understand the problems it teams can't travel to certain countries, they can't come back because they'd have to quarantine, wouldn't be able to fulfill fixtures, so you've got to find a way around it. But especially the second leg being in Greece, you've got to think surely there must have been somewhere closer than that. I mean, it's going to cause so many issues for Arsenal. It's in between, the two legs are in between the games. I think it's against Manchester City and Leicester. So they're going to be playing Man City. So you're going to be going away to Rome on the Thursday night, coming back playing Man City, then flying to Greece to play the second leg, then coming back to play Leicester. I mean, it's not an ideal situation at all for Arsenal, for Mikel Arteta, for the players. But it is what it is, I suppose. But it's going to cause real fixture chaos, travel chaos. And it's something that Arsenal could really, really do without. UEFA released a statement saying UEFA would like to express its gratitude to Benfica and Arsenal for their support and close cooperation, as well as the Italian Football Federation and AS Roma for their assistance and agreeing to stage a match. Now, so far officially, only the first leg has been announced, being in Rome. Arsenal did make a bit of a mistake yesterday and actually announced the home game was also going to be played in Greece. They quickly removed that from the website. My understanding of that situation is it is going to be played in Greece, and Arsenal jumped the gun a little bit because there is a slight opportunity, the way things are going, that Greece could enter a national lockdown between now and then, and that would completely change the whole picture of what's going on. So Arsenal have now, if you look on the website, all mention of Greece is gone, and it's just talking about the first leg game. But as it stands, Arsenal will be playing the second leg in Greece. But because there's this slight issue that there's a chance that Greece might go into national lockdown, if it does, then that fixture is going to be up in the air again. So Arsenal will remove that for now. But certainly as it stands, that it looks like the two legs are going to be in Rome and in Greece. So yeah, I mean, Arsenal got some really difficult games coming up. The two two defeats against Wolves and Villa, really frustrating. When you look at the run of games they've got now in the league, they've got Leicester, they've got Leeds, Man City, Leicester, Burnley, Spurs, West Ham, Liverpool. That takes you through till April. So you look at those and wonder where the points are coming from. I mean, Leeds are absolutely flying again at the moment. Arsenal are going to be in real trouble there. Manchester City, we all know what happens when Arsenal play Manchester City in the league. Leicester away, very difficult. Burnley away, not easy at all. Spurs, obviously North London derby, anything can happen. West Ham flying, they're in the hunt for the top four. Then Liverpool, suddenly you're in April there. You've only got 6 weeks left of the season, or 2 months left of the season. And so Arsenal are going to have pick up some really big results between now and then if they're going to want to stay in the hunt for a European place. Certainly those two defeats against Villa and Wolves beginning to look very, very costly in terms of the league table when you look at the league fixtures, and when you've got the added distraction and travel that comes with the Europa League, this would throw in between those matches as well. Like I've said about these upcoming two games, I mean, who knows if Arsenal get through against Benfica, what they're going to face in the next round. Will they have to do more of this extra travel just to play games? It's going to be a really difficult end to the season, and there's going to be plenty of fixture chaos, travel chaos, and Mikel Arteta is going to have a real job in his hands to make sure his players are fresh and stay injury-free between now and the end of the season. So let's talk a little bit about Leeds, shall we? Big game for Arsenal against the Leeds side that are beginning to play very, very well again. They had a little bit of a dip, but they seem to be finding their form again. Another good win last time out against Crystal Palace for them. We know what we're going to face against Leeds, the energy that they bring, the Bielsa-style football that they're going to bring. Leeds caused Arsenal all sorts of problems at Ellen Road. It did finish 0-0. Arsenal played a large chunk of that game with 10 men as well because Nicolas Pepe was sent off. They could have won it as well when Bukayo Saka went through right at the end and didn't take the opportunity. So they could have come away with that with a 1-0 win. And I think for me, I said it in my last video actually against Leeds, the key is to sort of stay in the game against Leeds because they're going to fly out the blocks and play really that high energy style that they bring, that high pressing style they bring. And I always think if you can stay in the game for as long as possible against Leeds, they do tire. They do start giving you opportunities as the second half progresses. So I think that's going to be key for Arsenal. I think back to when they were in the Championship and Arsenal played in the FA Cup third round at the Emirates, and they were brilliant Leeds for that first half. Absolutely played Arsenal off the park, they did, and Arsenal just about managed to hold on to get into half-time 0-0, and then they took control in the second half. They won it through Reece Nelson, I think, scored the winner. I think that's a sort of performance they might have to sort of try and replicate against this Leeds team on Monday night. There's a couple of big decisions for Mikel going into it, and first on, I think, Martin Odegaard. It's we haven't seen him start yet. I thought he was very good when he came on against Aston Villa. He made things happen. He could have scored, blazed one shot over the top. Should have done better with that, but his actual involvement in the game was really, really good. Lovely pass to Nicolas Pepe in the second half, set Pepe away, and Pepe should have done better with that opportunity. And I just feel recently, and I'm the biggest Smith Rowe fan there is. I love Emil Smith Rowe, but he has begun to look a little bit tired, I think. And I think Odegaard now has had time to settle, to adjust. And I think this is the game you probably start Odegaard. I've said that. I thought he would actually start against Aston Villa. He didn't. I was surprised at that he went with Smith Rowe again. But I think you've got a real opportunity here to give Odegaard a chance in the number 10 role. And I think certainly his substitute performance against Aston Villa was very, very promising. And I think Smith Rowe has played virtually I think he started every Premier League game since coming into the team against Chelsea. So, he must be very much approaching the red zone. I thought he's looked tired for a while, Smith Rowe. That's why I thought he'd play against Aston Villa, but he didn't. Odegaard would play against Aston Villa, but he didn't. So I think I think this is the game you look at Odegaard making his full debut for Arsenal for me in that number 10 role. Just because I thought the difference he made when he came on against Aston Villa, how much he got on the ball, how much he looked to play Arsenal, get them forward. He seems to have settled very well. Thomas Partey was talking about it. He said he's really difficult when you play against him. I remember playing against him in Spain. He's so intelligent. He's always quick on the ball. He doesn't give you a chance to win the ball. It's amazing to have him here. I hope he has a great season. He's able to achieve what we want to achieve. So Thomas Partey, a big, big fan of Martin Odegaard, and I'm not surprised because what we've seen him in those fleeting performances so far, especially the one against Aston Villa, is that Arsenal have got a very talented young player on their hands, and it'd be good to see him involved a little bit more. So I think he will probably start this week. I think he could be a key player for Arsenal at the weekend. The other big decision Mikel Arteta is facing, really, or one of them, is the centre-back situation at Arsenal. What do you do now? Because David Luiz has obviously served his one-match ban. He is available. Gabriel started against Aston Villa. Perhaps a little shaky, as he's looked for a while now, Gabriel, when he's played, a little shaky. But Pablo Mari is also fully fit as well. And Pablo Mari and Rob Holding had that fantastic partnership earlier this year. I think Rob Holding's the one player is going to start, but then who is going to play on the left-hand side of the centre-back? Do you bring David Luiz back in? Do you continue with Gabriel now and try and play him back into form and get him back to playing, hitting the sort of heights he hit earlier on in the season? Or do you bring Pablo Mari in and form that partnership with Rob Holding again? In centre-back. So it's going to be a really interesting thing to see what Mikel does with the centre-back situation ahead of the game against Leeds. Obviously, you're going to have Benfica looming large. Whether that plays a part in your team selection this weekend, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the game's not till Thursday, so potentially not, unless someone's got a bit of an injury doubt, such as Thomas Partey, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting one. It's one I'm intrigued to see what Mikel does at the weekend when it comes to the centre-back. Who does play next to Rob Holding? Is it Gabriel? Is it Luiz? Is it Pablo Mari? Who do you think it should be? Let me know. Leave your comments in about who you think Mikel should be playing alongside Holding this weekend. It's certainly one of the intriguing questions going into that battle against Leeds. Finally, just a little bit more on Thomas Partey. He continues to do pretty well, I am told, after limping off in the game against Villa. Not a serious injury at all, as I'm told again. So we're not looking at one of the sort of 5 to 6 weeks, finger crossed, that we had before. He's doing well. I wonder if he's going to be risked against against Leeds, even if he is past fully fit. That decision hasn't been made yet. People that I've spoken to suggest that Leeds might come a little bit too early for him. They might have one eye on that Benfica game. And look, you're not going to take any risks if you've got any sort of problem with Thomas Partey. You're going to make sure he's fully fit to play before you play him. You don't want a situation like we saw against Tottenham before Christmas when he broke down and suddenly you're without him for 5 to 6 weeks. So from what I understand, Leeds might come a little bit early for Thomas Partey, but that's not been fully decided yet. The medical staff and the doctors and Mikel Arteta will assess him during the week, see if he gets back to training, and then they'll make a decision. But it looks like Leeds will probably come a little bit too early, and we might well see Thomas return for the game against Benfica on Thursday night. Right, that's about it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone, appreciate it. As always, as I said, I am off this week, so I'm a little bit quiet on social media. But I will try and do probably one more video between now and the weekend's game, potentially two, just to keep you updated with all things at Arsenal. From my here, Mikel Arteta will be speaking to the press tomorrow morning, I believe, where we should find out a little bit more about the injuries and things like that ahead of the game against Leeds. So keep your eyes peeled for any info to come from that press conference. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the day. Cold out there, sun shining though, so if you can, get out and get some fresh air into those lungs of yours. All right, everyone, speak to you soon. Bye-bye.